Lack of faith. This is real serious. This is real serious. And I'm going to show you scriptures to prove this later. Lack of faith is the substance of damnation. Lack of faith is the substance of damnation. The very substance of damnation is lack of faith. Why? Because in order to come to Christ, you must what? Believe that he is. You cannot please God without faith. Without faith, you cannot please God. Anything that's not done in faith is sin automatically, right? We see all these in Scripture. We see this in Scripture. Okay, so now watch this. Lack of faith is the substance of damnation. Lack of faith is the arsenic of your faith, of your relationship with God. It's the arsenic of your sanctification. You know, you see some people, they sit around and for 20 years, they haven't done nothing with their faith. They haven't moved forward. Reason why that is a lot of times because they lack faith. They lack the faith. Faith is one of the only things. It is one of the only things that you can actually give God. You can't really give him your checkbook, but what is he gonna do with money? He's invisible. You gonna buy him a snack? You gonna buy God a car? You gonna bribe him with the offering plate? That what you gonna do? You gonna make sure you do your 10% and your tithes so God will bless you? Is that right? Is that right? See. Now watch this, man. Watch this, y'all. Some of y'all still living in the Levitical. Some of y'all still living in the Levitical. You can do the tithes and that be all right if you want to do that according to your faith and according to your heart. It's all about that faith. That's what he's receiving. When you give God your money, you're giving him your faith. That's what you're doing. You're using the money as a vehicle for you to give God your faith. That's one of the only things you can give God. But watch this. Watch this substance thing. The substance of damnation that is faith. That is lack of faith, rather. That is lack of faith, because faith is how you're saved. You know, we're saved by faith. Okay, we're saved by faith through grace, right? By grace through faith, right? That's what it says in Scripture. So by that token, okay, if faith is how you're saved, lack of faith is how you're not saved. Straight up, lack of faith is how you're not saved. Okay, let's look at the parable of the talents right quick. Let's look at the parable of the talents. All right, the parable of the talents describes the man with 5 talents, and then he has the man with 2 talents, and the man with 1 talent. Okay, all right. So now, by the way, this is not about money. Okay, because if it was about money, then some people would be in trouble because they're poor. Some people would, according to this passage, be put in a hot place because they're poor. This passage is not about money, even though it uses money as a parable to symbolize something else. Okay, something having to do with your relationship with God. Okay, so now watch this. Watch this. The servant with 5, what did he do? He went out and multiplied those 5, and because God already gave him 5, but he went out and did more with the 5 and got 10. All right. And the servant with 2, and then God was pleased with him, right? He was pleased with him. And the servant that had 2, he went out and multiplied that, and he got 4. All right. God was pleased with them 2 people. But watch this part. Watch this person right here. See, now I'm gonna focus on this last person. I'm gonna focus on the last person. Now the last person, they took the talent and hid it under sand, right? They hid it under sand. All right. So they took that talent, they hid it under the sand, and they buried it because they were afraid of what the master might do. And so what the master come at them. See, a lot of people don't really understand this. They try to make everything equal. But watch this. See, in the parable, Christ comes to the servant and calls him, "You wicked servant," right? "You wicked servant, you know that I reap where I do not sow," okay? "And you knew that I was hard, and so and you hid your talent." So what happened to this man? Watch this now. Well, look at this parable very closely. It was taken away from him and given to the one with 10. And it says at the end, those who do not have will be taken away from. Those who do have will be, and those who do not have, that what they do have will be, that'll be taken away from them. Okay. Now watch this. Watch this. and I'm paraphrasing some of these. You can get the concept when you read this. This is very important. This is very important. This servant. All right. You can read this for yourself. This servant was placed in an area, taken and thrown into an area with weeping and gnashing of teeth. Do you know what that means? Do you know what weeping and gnashing of teeth means in the parable? Do you know what that means? That doesn't mean time out. That doesn't mean you're gonna go sit in the corner for 10 minutes. That means damnation and hellfire. That's what that means. Like, this is real serious. That's damnation and hellfire, because this servant was actually called a wicked servant. You know, he was called a wicked servant and then thrown to this place of weeping and gnashing of teeth. Look at the context of weeping and gnashing of teeth. It means hellfire and damnation when he speaks in the parables and uses that. It means hellfire and damnation. Watch this.